Hi guys, welcome back to Algebra 2 Easy. Today we're going to graph cosine functions with transformations. Let's do a quick recap of all of the different transformations we may see. Remember, we have phase shifts. That's going to move your graph left or right. Vertical shifts, remember, it's going to move your graph up and down. And do not forget about our vertical stretches and compressions as well. Remember, that's going to either make your graph larger or it's going to make it smaller. First example, y is equal to 3 times cosine of theta minus pi plus 1. Remember, your amplitude is going to involve a, and a here is 3. Here it is 2 pi divided by b. And remember, b is going to be in front of theta. I period is going to be 2 pi divided by 1, which is just 2 pi. Your phase shifts are going to occur inside of your parentheses. Notice we have theta minus pi. We're going to go to the right pi units. Your vertical shift is going to be your k, so it's either going to be adding k or subtracting k. So we do have plus 1, so that means we're going to go up 1 unit. Our midline is in the form of y is equal to k. Well, k for us was 1. So our midline is going to be y is equal to 1. Remember, your midline is going to split your graph in half. Now, to graph this function, we're going to make our table. Starting with our phase shift. Our phase shift here was right pi. So we're going to start with 180 degrees. Remember, to determine what you count by, you take your period. Our period was 2 pi, which we know is 360 degrees. And you divide it by 4. So we are going to have 90 degrees. So we're going to be counting by 90 each time. So 180 plus 90, 270. 270 plus 90, 360. 360 plus 90, 450. And 450 plus 90 is going to be 540. Our pattern is still the same as last week for cosine. It was 1, 0, negative 1, 0, and 1. This pattern will not change. Notice you do have a 3 that's been multiplied to your function. This is going to deal with your vertical, either stretch or compression. In this case, stretch. Vertical means y-axis, so we're going to take all of our y values and multiply by 3. Theta minus pi. We've already taken care of this. Remember, that is your phase shift, and we started with 180 degrees. Then we have plus 1. That is our vertical shift up 1 unit with the y-axis. So that means we're going to add 1 to all of our y values. That way we can ensure that the function goes up. I like to create a new table just to simplify everything. It's just easier to read and also to make sure you graph everything correctly. We're going to have 180, 1 times 3 is 3, plus 1 is 4. We're going to have 271, 360, negative 2, 451, and then 544. 180, which we know is pi, up at 4. 270, which we know is 3 pi over 2. You're on the midline at 1. 360, which is 2 pi, is going to be down at negative 2. Now, if we keep the pattern going, notice again we're counting by 90s. So that means if we're in reverse, so we need to go to the left side of 180. We're going to say 180 minus 90. Well, that's 90. At 90, which is pi over 2, you're going to be at 1. What's 90 minus 90? 0. At 0, you're going to be at negative 2. And then if we do negative 90, you're going to again be up at 1. Negative 180, up at 4. Negative 270, back at 1. Negative 360, we are at negative 2. And then we're ready to draw our function, so draw your curve. Here's my function graph. This time we have a lot of transformations going on. Let's start with that amplitude first. It is our A. If you take the absolute value of your A of 5 over 2, you're going to get 5 over 2. Period is 2 pi divided by b. B for us this time is 1/2. So we're going to take 2 pi and divide by 1/2. Well, that's going to give us 4 pi. 4 pi, remember, is the same as 720 degrees. We move on to our phase shift. Our phase shift is going to involve what's inside the parentheses. It says plus 3 pi over 4. That means that we're going to go to the left 3 pi over 4. We do have a vertical shift this time. Notice that our vertical shift here is -2. -2 means that we're going down 2 units. Our midline, remember, is in the form of y is equal to k. So we're going to have y is equal to our k of -2. Always start with your phase shift, and your phase shift here is left 3 pi over 4. So left 135 degrees, which is going to be -135. To get the other 4 values, so to know what you are counting by, you take your period, which is going to be 720 degrees, and you divide it by 4. So 720 divided by 4 is going to give me 180. -135 plus 180. 45. You are saying 45 plus 180 to get 225. You're saying 225 plus 180 to get 405. You're saying 405 plus 180 to get 585. Same pattern as the problem before. It is 1, 0, -1, 0, 1 for all of those y values of your cosine function. Now let's apply our transformations. You have a transformation of 5 over 2. That's going to be your vertical stretch. We're going to multiply everything by 5 over 2, or just 2.5 works. Next, I know you see the number 1/2 at the top. However, we've already taken care of 1/2. That involved our period. Moving on to 3 pi over 4, which included our horizontal shift. Well, we made sure to start left -135. So we've already taken care of that as well. Last, we have -2. That is our vertical shift. We have not taken care of that. That means down 2 units. So we're going to subtract 2 from every y value. Let's go ahead and clean up this table by making a new table. And then we can graph. So it's -135 and then 0.5 is going to be your simplified y value. 45 is going to have -2. 225, you're going to get -4.5. And again, I'm taking these values that you see and I'm simplifying them. With 405, you're going to get -2. And then for 585, we are going to get 0.5. Now you are ready to graph. You have -135, which is -3 pi over 4. You know that's going to be in between -pi over 2 and -pi. So we're going to go up 1/2 a unit. 45 degrees. That's going to be in between 0 and pi over 2. That's down at -2. We then have 225, which is going to be in between pi and 3 pi over 2. That's going to be down at -4.5. Then we have 405. That's going to be right beside 360 because that's just 45 degrees more. And we are going to be at -2. So this is what we have so far. Or finish up the left side of that point. So again, if we're going backwards, if we were adding 180, then that means that we are going to be subtracting 180. So -135 minus 180 is -315. So at -315, which is going to be in between -270 and -360, we are going to be at -2. And that's going to be the only other one that we are able to graph this time around. Or your arrow leading to the next point, and then you are finished.